Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's been a long time since I had a conversation with Beyond Stigma. Got a special guest today here, Tasha. I think it's going to be an interesting conversation. Oh, hello. uh, I think it's going to be an interesting conversation today. Going to dive into some significant topics that I think is going to provide interesting food for thought. So, without further ado, we can begin. First, I always ask every guest this, and I did it off camera, but I'm gonna do it again. How are you doing today, Tasha?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm in a good space today.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So how you feeling about sharing your story today?
I'm cool with it. It might help somebody, so I'm cool with it.
For sure. Let's see. So where are you from and what states have you lived in?
So I'm originally from South Carolina. Um, as far as me living places, I'm a military kid. So I
Mm,
was originally born in Virginia. I stayed in Virginia for 3 days, literally the time my mom was in the hospital. Um, from Virginia, I went to South Carolina. I lived in South Carolina until I was about 3 or 4. We moved to North Carolina for 6 months. I remember because we were living in Charlotte and the tile was black and white on the floor. Never forget.
mm,
Real 90s apartment. Then we moved to Jacksonville. Um, my mom got married. We lived in Jacksonville from the time I was 4 up until I was 19. Um, Mom got married. We did the whole thing. As soon as I turned 19, got my own place here, lived here with my boyfriend, then jetted, left, went back to South Carolina,
mm,
stayed there for 2 years, um, came back to Jacksonville, uh, just to get in the whole mess of stuff. And from then, I joined the carnival, and I've been Kentucky, Oklahoma, Ohio, Tennessee, um, all up in Georgia, all through Florida.
what are
I've
you
been a
doing
lot
in
of
the carnival?
places.
Like, what was
Huh?
like? What were you doing in the carnival? Like, and what inspired you to join the carnival?
I had a boyfriend at the time that I met in the club, and he worked for the carnival. And every
Mm,
time he would come through with throwing stacks. So I'm like, oh, that's where it's at. What? You work on the road? You
right.
know, went through the whole take me with you, and I'll take you with me. I'll even prove to you. Did the whole spiel. Um, got there, and it was I would say picture hell on earth, but it was so much worse than hell on earth.
Mm,
It was no fun. I do not suggest anybody in life do no shit like that. Excuse my language. But
you good?
I don't want nobody to do no shit like that. That shit is death. Okay. If you want to be surrounded by junkies and bed bugs, yeah, go do it. All
Yeah.
right. But other than that, when you're a normal level-headed person, it's crazy. I thought it's borderline up there with working at a gas station. There you go.
I got you. So, are you into astrology and or zodiac signs, and how do they apply to your life?
I can say that I am, um, only because I have to act like a Sag now. I got to put on for the best zodiac ever, which is a Sag. Um, I am in the zodiacs, but I don't let that influence how I see a person. If that makes sense. Um, I feel like people can still act out of character because people will be like, "Oh, you a Sag, that means you free, you wild, you can't be tied down, da, 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 all this stuff." That's so not true because I'm a submissive. Naturally I'm a submissive. So I don't feel like that even applies. A person's character is based on a person. It doesn't matter your zodiac or your birth chart. No, because we grow out of things.
Right.
So it's all that's just small examples of times in your life.
Right.
I feel like that's all zodiacs are. It's just small examples of times in your life versus you as a person. So, because you grow out of things. So that zodiac stuff, it's nice to know though. If you want some information about a person, it's nice to know, but that doesn't influence the person.
Mm. Okay, I get what you're saying. So you're saying astrology is more your nature as a person versus who you are in a certain period. I get that.
Yes.
Um, so entering a different realm here, can you share some of the circumstances that led into escorting?
I had a kid at 13.
Mm-hmm.
I had a I had a kid at 13, and by the time I was 21, I had two kids. I
Mm-hmm.
had two kids. I was married, and in my in my head, I thought that was the best decision.
Right.
Um, I got out of a relationship. Naturally, you go through high school. I moved in with my high school boyfriend. We were probably together like a month. We were together for a month, living in this place, and it's like after that month was done, we started separate because at this point we both want different things. I'm looking at him like, well, you make all the money. I'll be a good little housewife. I'll make sure, you got hot food every night. I did that. Hot food every night, clothes, iron, wash, house clean. I'll just be a good little housewife. Because in my head, that's what I thought what I was supposed to do. That's how I was raised. I was like, well, if you make all the money, why not?
Right.
Um, but me not thinking, not hearing that voice in the back of our heads, which is usually our mothers, our fathers, our grandparents that say, well, people like you the way they met you. And when he met me in high school, I'm long hair, stomach flat, still doing, my little hustling thing. But now I'm a homely housewife. I'm walking around, golf on my head, hair sticking up, and put on 50 pounds. I didn't think about that part. I just thought, if I feed him and fuck him, he good.
Right.
Nah, that ain't it.
Right.
So I had to go through the whole breakup thing. And one of his first things he said is, well, you don't work and I'm paying all the bills.
Mm.
What? Okay. I don't work. Cool. All right. So me trying to do the little, application. Mind you, this is 2008. Okay, 2008, 2009, that era.
Yeah.
So I'm doing all the job searching, and that's when the scammers were real big. The scammers were
Yeah.
literally,
Yeah.
they still are, but they will
Yeah.
pop up shop. They bold now.
Right. Right.
Back then they would open up a little mom and pop little corner, little on the strip,
Yeah.
little place, and be like, "We offering jobs. Just go sell these knives and these scissors that cut through pennies, and you're gonna
Right.
be driving a
Mm-hmm.
Porsche in a month."
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
fell for the delusion. I was like, I'm trying so hard to get a job. Just love me. I'm gonna get a job. And of course he ends up moving on. We still live in the same house. You got
Mm.
bitches all in my house. Y'all fucking what? Yeah, yeah. So me being my vindictive self, this is that period of time when I was acting in my Sagittarius nature. Okay, you want me to get a job? I'm gonna go get a job. I remember turning 18 and me and my friends would go around and apply at strip clubs as a gag. Just on some, oh, we legal now. What's the worst we could do? What's the worst thing we can do now we 18? Let's go apply at the strip clubs. Maybe we get hired.
Mm,
This is Jacksonville. They like big titty white girls that live on the beach. So we was like, they ain't gonna hire us, no way.
mm,
So I was like, I'm gonna go get a job. I know a job I can go get. I can't dance. I don't know. All I know is what I seen in like Flash Dance and Players Club. That's all I know. But I'm gonna go
mm,
try anyway. I picked the whitest club I could think of. I applied and I worked day shift at that. Who I'm the only black girl on day shift.
mm,
But I knew at the end of the day, I still had a kid I had to take care of. I was fresh out of high school. I had dropped out of cosmetology school. I It was no end for me. Everything was a scam. We were still looking for jobs in the newspaper,
right,
literally getting the newspaper and still getting the help wanted ads and
right,
looking for little jobs. And I'm looking at jobs and it's like either cut through pennies and make $1,000 a week.
right,
Hot girls want it naturally. Hot
right,
girls want to apply at wackos, shit like that,
right.
or some more licking envelopes type shit. It was really no good jobs out there. So for me to take care of my kids, I thought about the one thing I knew for me at the time. I thought I had a nice body. I was just really thick. So I was like, okay, I got a nice body. Let me see what this is hitting on, which surfaced into a spiral of things. I danced at the time here in Jacksonville. I danced probably for about a year and a half. I danced here, and then I ended up moving to South Carolina. I ended up finding out I was pregnant. I had another baby. Great. Working at a nail salon. I have the baby, going through a divorce. I get on my high horse. I tell the guy at the nail salon, F this job. I don't need this job. I
Right.
know one thing, if I can't do anything, I know what I can do. I know what I can do. And South Carolina would really introduce me to escorting.
Well,
Um,
let's break it down through these questions because I have some interesting questions I want to ask you about it. Um,
oh,
so how did you advertise yourself when you first got into it? Like, because like you said, you got a nice body, but how did you like market yourself to like make your clientele want to engage with
marketing myself came with experience. Um, because naturally when you first start, it's not what people see in the movies. It's not, you know, putting on a little bathing suit and just going out there and they throwing money at you. No, you have to ask, like, you want to go on VIP, you wanna dance, you gotta introduce yourself. I was introducing people to myself to people with my real name. Bad idea. Bad idea. I was like, yeah, my name's Tasha. Yeah, come on. That doesn't make you sound intriguing or interesting. It just make you sound regular.
you? Right,
So I had to slowly change my image. It started with simple things like wearing contacts, changing my name, changing the colors I would wear. Because I went through a period I wore green contacts, and with me, I always had long hair. Hair has always been long.
mm,
Um, so it was green contacts, long wavy hair, and then like, well, where are you from? Let me make up a story. I'm from this place. I'm from that place.
uh,
Whatever.
got
You
you.
know, so you change who you are so much. It's hard to kind of keep up with how you market yourself
Right,
because it started with that. Then I got a tattoo, and then that changed my name. I went from Tasha to Angel, and it was all, oh, I got a new piercing. Oh,
right,
I'm doing something different with my hair. It was always something different. And here I market myself as simple country girl. I shoot chickens and kill hogs, all that good stuff, just to go to South Carolina. And now I'm Angel from Miami.
mm, I feel you.
So that marketing yourself, especially in that era, it just all changes with however you change.
So were you solo as your own boss, or were you part of a group that had a manager?
I was solo for a long, long time. And the moment I thought I could do the group thing, it was with a boyfriend, of course, at the time. And we went through our own little things, and he did one in terms they call gorilla pimping. And gorilla pimping is where you basically take girls against their will and force them into whatever, force them into prostitution, escort and dancing, whatever you want them to do, you force them into it by, by way of violence. So, but before him, I tell anybody, my favorite term is nobody's going to pimp me. I'm going to pimp myself. So I've always kind of managed myself.
Right,
And I would bring other girls on with me, but they were still their own entity, except for when we did like parties or major events. Then I'm
right,
getting a cut because I set this up.
right, right,
I,
right,
I put this in motion.
right.
But other than that, I was always my own entity.
I got you. I got you. Well, side question, was the guy, the manager, was that like the movies, or was that different too? Like, do they really talk how, like, they talk in the movies, or is it a little different?
It's worse.
Uh, okay.
It's none of that smooth talking, sliding across the floor. Now
Yeah,
listen here,
right.
baby. It ain't none of that. It's
Yeah.
more like, bitch, I will kill you
Mm,
right here where you stand if you don't go out there and do as I say.
mm.
And the moment you like, okay, whatever, and they dumping gasoline on you
Ooh,
and lighting cigarettes and slamming you to the pavement and you still got to stand out there all night.
yeah. Hey,
And so it's nothing like how people think it is in the movies. The movies soften it up some. They
glamorize it.
soften it up.
Yeah.
It's not like that at all.
So, all right. Does your syntax and diction when you're talking to former clients differ from your everyday word flow? So what I mean by that is like, oh, unless you understood what I mean, I could break that down for you.
You can break it down.
So when you're talking to former clients, the way you would talk with them, like the words you would use, the amount of flirtation you would use, and what's the word, seductive nature, did that blend in with your normal everyday conversation with people, or was it like two different things?
Sometimes, but most of the time, it flowed with my everyday conversation. My job always was to make people feel comfortable.
Mm,
Um, so for me, doing the extras and putting on the voice and all that, we use seduction every day in life, even for the
yeah,
simplest things. So with that, it flowed in perfect with my life.
I did.
Like having the art of seduction is dangerous, but it's also a good thing too.
Yeah, it's a skill.
Yes.
All right. Have you come across somebody famous or notable? And if so, you don't have to say their name, but what was their occupation, if you knew?
Yes.
Okay.
A few football players, um,
Mm,
a few rappers. Um, but it's always this one rapper that stick out so bad.
is he from the city?
He's not from the city, but he's from the state.
Okay. All right. I
I
won't
give you
push
that.
you farther than that.
I give you that. He
All
used to
right.
come to South Carolina a lot. He used to be in South Carolina a lot. Because it's a lot of, you got the historic black colleges in South Carolina.
Mhm.
And it's college towns. So during that time, he was real hot. He was real hot. Him and Jeezy during the time, it was South Carolina was like they stomping grounds. Um, but I was in the club dancing and they was like, oh, such and such in here. And you should come see him. The boss is in here. You should come see him. I said, oh, word. Got up, got dressed, got all pretty, got called VIP.
Mm-hmm.
Get the VIP, touch that man's shoulder. I got ready to introduce myself. He looked me up and down and said, ain't it past your bedtime?
Mm-hmm.
What? I'm grown ass woman.
Right.
Bitch, please. Will somebody tell this little girl to go do some homework or something? Cause she ain't supposed to be in here.
Yeah.
I was 20 at the time. So I can only imagine. Because to me, I didn't think I looked like a child,
Mm-hmm.
naturally. But I guess I looked like a child. And he gave me a nice little stack and slapped me on my ass and sent me on my way. And I was not allowed to go in that VIP for the rest of the night. But the football players, they're the nicest. They're the best. They're a little crazy. They get a little stalkerish, but they're the best.
What's up? All right. I'm I low key. Nah, I ain't gonna do it. Okay. So, have you ever been offered a lump sum to be filmed? Well, yeah. First question: have you ever been offered a lump sum to be filmed?
Yeah,
Okay. And how did you feel the first time you were filmed?
I loved it.
Yeah.
It was very empowering.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for the act that was happening. Um, yeah, it was very empowering. It gave me a sense of if you tell, I'ma tell.
Mm-hmm. Right. I get that.
Because you got a copy and I got a copy. And from what I was doing in your copy compared to what you was doing in my copy is completely different. So it gave me a sense of power. But afterwards, because I consider myself to be asexual, which is basically you are turned on by your own self. So it kind of carried on. I don't mind being filmed. I've collected um, funds being filmed and filming. So
Right.
nobody can never say anything because I have a whole catalog of paid actors and actresses.
Mm-hmm. I did.
Hmm.
Let's see. Have you ever been offered anything other than cash as compensation?
Yes, they do it all the time. I danced for 6 years. As far as collecting, collecting never stops when you're a hustler. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been offered a plenty of things for other things. First thing is always going to be drugs. People are always going to offer you drugs. Uh, Drugs are not that important because drugs are. I don't mind paying for drugs. uh, Drugs, cars. And I had plenty of 3 cars for doing crazy stuff. Uh, Houses, um, jewelry, naturally, um, food stamps. But I've never been
Yeah.
that desperate.
Yeah.
Never been. Never been that desperate. Food is always gonna be. Anytime you take a woman out on a date, if she sleeps with you the same night, you basically fucked for food.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you you basically fucked for food. This is why women don't want to go to Cheesecake Factory because they already put in their mind they're gonna sleep with that man in the night. Don't take me to Cheesecake Factory because now I feel like I slept with you for Cheesecake Factory because you did. You did.
If that's always been the case, I don't see the problem now. But yeah, that's
Of
a
course,
yeah.
naturally, you're not going to see the problem because for you, it come out of your pocket, but it don't. You get what I'm saying? It don't. You just like, as you being on that male mindset, you just like, hey, I hit though, what I hit though. Okay, but later on, she gonna be sitting at her desk at work, thinking about the fact that she just sucked and fucked for a cheeseburger, a gourmet cheeseburger, but it was still a cheeseburger.
That could have just been a good part of our enjoying each other. You know what I'm saying? Like
Most
it would have
definitely,
got to that
most
point.
definitely.
Well, okay, what if I didn't take her out for a cheeseburger and we just casually talked and I sauced you down and then it just happened? Is you now you saying
Then
you can
that
take
ass,
that for free? At least you got a meal out of it. So
see, and that's where it goes back. At least you can say you got a meal. Most of the time, that's how women think. If you went on a date, it was great. You ate good. You even fucked. But if the fuck was bad, the first thing she gonna think is, well, at least I got a meal.
so we on the same page, everybody. We on the same page.
Hey,
Um,
people been tricking for years. Don't even know it.
for real. Have you? Well, let me see right here. Has your experience influenced your perspective on female exploitation and consent?
Yes, not so much consent though. I still stand firm on the no means no consent. Like if I tell you no, I mean that. No is no. But as far as female exploitation, yes, only because throughout my time doing the things that I did, anytime I put myself into a bind, everything is a choice at the end of the day. Every time I put myself into a bind, I knew what to use to get myself out of it. That's why I don't have sympathy for um young mothers that are homeless. Um because I put my life on the line for my kids. I put my everything on the line for my kids to make sure we never got to the point where there was a day where y'all didn't eat, y'all didn't take a hot shower. Like I went through those things so y'all didn't have to. That's why anytime I see a bitch coming up to me begging me $5, $10 to throw in her tank, or you just outside and you like, oh well, I'm homeless. Um, you got gold, baby. You got gold. What are you talking about? Them
Well,
kids should never be hungry. My kids were never hungry. Never hungry. Even in our worst times. It was a point in time we was in the car. We was in the car. And I would take my car, park my kids wherever I may be at, whether it be in the strip club or at a hotel. I will park my car, lock them up inside of there, take care of my business, and wake their ass up like, come on, so y'all can come and get in this bed. Come on, so y'all can come eat. It was because I had gold. I know at the end of the day, I had gold, and I was gonna get whatever I had to get by whatever means possible.
so speaking of that, right there, how do you think societal perceptions of homelessness affect mental health and self-esteem with the people that's experiencing it?
The way I see it, because of the fact people don't have sympathy anymore. We no longer have sympathy because look at how the world's going now. I can't. Oh, you hungry? I'm hungry too. Oh, you ain't got no money. I ain't got no money neither. You got a little people homeless actually got it better than we do. Y'all ain't they ain't got bills. They ain't got
Yeah, it's
bills.
not funny, but yeah.
They
Yeah,
ain't got no bills.
right.
Y'all ain't got to worry about putting groceries in the house. Y'all can stand outside and ask for $5 or something, or I just want a bite to eat. And most of them gonna go smoking anyway. When I was homeless, it wasn't because I was on drugs. It wasn't because I was on drugs. It was because I just got in a bad situation, got dealt up with the wrong man, got left behind. Like, oh, he get locked up. Okay, now you gotta maintain these bills. So me not thinking like I've always been taken care of. So bills, pay what bills? Two. What you talking about? I don't know nothing about that.
Yeah.
So that's how I ended up where I was. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. But I knew what I was doing. I knew that I could go out and go get it. I knew how to go get it. I just didn't know who to give it to.
Well, back
So
to that real quick. Has a person ever paid you for anything like outside of the normal? So like not money, jewelry, and all that. So have they ever paid you for like, let's say talking, like just to talk to them in the Bible? How did you like
yes.
manage that? Because obviously, it wasn't what was normally happening. Was it just a conversation like this, or what happened?
Yeah, I had a few guys actually just pay me to vent. And it's all about being a conversationalist.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you can be a conversationalist, you're pretty good. Me, I like conversation because I like to know where people head be at. So when they be like, "Oh, I just want to talk to you. I'll give you this, that, that. Just come and talk to me."
Right.
Not a problem. I'll sit there. I'll be like, "Well, what do you want to talk about? What's wrong? Are you okay? Are you hurt? Are you are you hurt physically, emotionally, mentally? Like,
Right.
just talk." And they'd be like, "Oh yeah." And sometimes it'd be stupid shit like, "Okay, well, talk to me and put your hand on my head at the same time." Okay, cool.
Right.
and and some people want advice, and some people just want me to sit there in silence and just listen to them. And
Right.
I never have a problem doing it. I like listening to people. It's great. It's really great because you can really see where people here really be at.
We're winding down the last 2 minutes, so let me ask you these two questions.
Okay.
This is a more personal question. I'm interested in this answer. Is resentment justified towards someone who supported you genuinely at one point, but then that changed or stopped? But you also want to feel grateful for what they did beforehand, so you don't want to be like upset about it. So is that resentment justified that it stopped or changed?
No. Resentment is never justified. Resentment is never justified because that term, I forgive, but I don't forget. People take that all wrong. They take that all wrong. Forgiving somebody is not holding resentment. Okay. Yes, you can choose not to forget it. Because of course that keeps you to where I'm sorry, I'm getting a call.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there we go. I was getting a call. Um, yeah, what I was saying. Yeah, resentment is never justified. It's not fair to nobody, especially with somebody being one way when you first meet them and then a different way later. To a whole resentment against that person, I don't think that's fair. Because people grow up and grow out of things, you know. Just because that person did that to you this time or then, they probably grew. They more than likely they probably grew out of that. Those be stages in life. Everybody have to go through stages. It's talking and explaining through your stages. I've always told people when I go through a stage, when I'm like, oh yeah, this just a stage in my life. I don't want you to hold resentment against me. And you always got to put into the world what you expect to get out. I'm not gonna hold resentment for somebody because at the end of the day, I don't want that to circle back on me. Everything's full circle. Everything's full circle. I would expect forgiveness. So sometimes you gotta give people forgiveness to get forgiveness. So resentment sucks.
It does. Time running down, so I won't be able to get to a few questions. But the last one I want to ask you before, we'll just ask the question. So how did you feel in closing? How did you feel about sharing these parts of your story today?
I feel good about it. I feel like I got a pretty good story. I feel like it's a lot more I can say.
Definitely.
But I definitely don't mind it and I actually enjoy it. I feel like everybody go through phases in life and they should be able to talk about it. And hopefully, maybe
Hmm.
my story could help somebody later. Maybe they can relate and be like, yeah, she's right. And they
Right.
can relate.
Definitely.
So I was very
So
comfortable with it.
that's good. That's what we aim to do here. So before we get out of here, did you want to say any of your socials? So if anybody have questions about any part of your story, not that they got to be like question you or anything, but just like, like you just said, maybe if they're inspired and they want a different viewpoint on things, would you like to say any of your socials so they can reach out to you?
Oh yeah. So I'm on Instagram as Geechee_nails. Facebook, same name, capital G, capital N, Geechee Nails, Geechie, and nails with an S. Same name on TikTok, Geechee Nails everywhere, because that's what I do. So anybody wants to ask me anything or talk to me about anything, because I'm always here to listen. Um, that's where you can reach me.
Sure. So yeah, many remaining. This has been fun. Like she said, I feel like there's more to discuss. So maybe we can get together again another time and delve a little deeper or different angles and things of that nature. But it has been fun. And I'll be dropping this soon, so y'all look out for it. It's gonna be on the Stories by the Vigilante YouTube channel. Y'all go follow and subscribe. I appreciate your time.
Yeah. All right. See you later.